again, like Daniel said, that origination of the French kiss came from Play Shelf Trade last week. So let's see what happens this time. So we come up with a new ongoing joke. So today, again, we're doing Uwe. Did I get it right?
I don't know.
Sure.
Well, whatever. My man EWE, whatever.
UWE.
It's UWE.
Oh, it's UWE? Okay, whatever.
Yes.
I don't even know. Whatever.
not
You know
ew.
what? So, in
Ew.
truth, I do like this guy. At first, we were in pre-production. I was like, I guess we can talk about a guy that I don't really like any of his games. And then we got to talking. I was like, oh, actually, there's quite a few games I liked about this man. And my number one, without question, is Glass Road. Speaking of Glass Road, it's not on this one. But anyway, so right here we got Patchwork, Feast of Odin, and Le Havre. Patchwork is the smaller two-player. Man, I still can't think of the name. The little shapes, the Jenga pieces.
Polyomino.
Polyomino. There it is. Not Jenga, it's Tetris. What am I talking about?
Yes.
Anyway, all those weird different Tetris or whatever. Anyways, Jenga pieces. I'm all lost here. All right, and then we got Feast of Odin, which is the giant, huge worker placement Euro thing. Yeah, moving on from that one.
It's Feast for Odin, not of Odin.
Odin.
We're not eating.
We're not eating Odin?
That actually sounds more
Oh.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, it
that needs
does.
to be a Halloween re-theme. And with Hannibal Lecter. We can get that. We can get the IP of Silence of the Lambs on there. Let's go. And then we have the classic Le Havre. So I will start out here, and I mean, I already buried the lead by saying it was a classic. So obviously Le Havre is on my shelf. I love the game. I've played it once it first came out. I'm not one of, as we all know, I'm not one for that's big on production and all those different special pieces and stuff. But one thing that I've always wanted was the BGG upgrade of the little tiles and stuff for Le Havre specifically. Because that would be, especially because they're like the little, not Kallax, but Azul kind of pieces. They've had that same feel, and I love that feel. And they have a so that would be amazing. That'd be the French kiss right there, but so that's my shelf, and then I'm gonna go with Patchwork because first of all, I've actually never played it. I don't think I've ever actually played this game. Somehow it's eluded me, but I've heard such good things about it. I'm always interested in learning new two-player games that are good and enjoyable, and I have a very mixed bag feeling on polyomino games. Sometimes they just knock it out of the park, and sometimes I just really don't like them at all. So I'm intrigued to see how I feel about this game. And then I'm also trading Feast for Odin because, wow, I really don't like that game. It's just too much. Like it is. Like, there are so many games, like, I know we're talking about games earlier about big boxes and small boxes, and I was saying, hey, there's a ceiling on how complex and how deep you can have the smaller the box because you need to have more things to do, blah, blah, blah. But then there is a limit, people. We do have to stop somewhere. And Feast of Odin just, like, encompasses, like, this new wave of games that, like, when I just see pictures of it, like, I'm just like, nope, I'm not interested in that game. And it's not because of the art. It's because there's just so much going on. I don't even know how I could even have a good time. And everyone talks about, oh, the money's, in games people will say is a good thing is the money's really tight and the actions are real tight. It can't be tight when there's 1,000 options and there's only 4 players. You get to do whatever you want anyway. So, yeah, not a fan of games like that. So, keeping Le Havre forever because it's a chef's, or it's not a chef's kiss, it's a French kiss. And Patchwork because I've not played it, and Feast of Odin because people like it and I can get some money out of it, and I don't like it at all.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
He got a few.
That's it. Your opinion, not Randy's.
Goodness. That is my opinion. So I'm going to get straight into it here. And yeah, you're crazy. You are absolutely crazy. Feast for Odin is incredibly tight. It scales well because you take away certain options and rows depending on how many players are playing. And it's incredibly tight. There are different options, but there are only so many things you can do. And if somebody gets in the way of what you're trying to do, it's so frustrating, but it's awesome. It's Feast for Odin. For Odin is Uwe Rosenberg's
Mea culpa?
Magnus Opus. No, I used to say mea culpa, but no, Magnus Opus. It's his masterpiece. It is
another callback from early in the show.
It is. A lot of callbacks on this show. Feast for Odin is definitely going to the shelf. It is a masterpiece. It's everything that it's the evolution of Patchwork and Le Havre and Agricola and Caverna into the perfect game. It's so beautiful. It's got the tetriomino, tetriomino,
Polyomino.
And I've got Tetris and polyomino, tetriomino,
Gengomino.
Yes, no, we don't drink on the show. At least not on camera.
Only before.
That's right. As far as my play, I'm going to play Le Havre again because it's actually been a while since I played, and I did enjoy Le Havre. I've only played it a couple of times, but it was good. And then I'm going to trade away Patchwork, and the reason I'm going to trade away Patchwork is it's really a simple game. It's too simple. It's fine, but there's other things I'd rather play that are just abstract and small like that. So
it's like Bonanza.
Yes,
no,
exactly.
because that's not an abstract game. Bonanza is no, it's not. No,
Okay.
Well, no, I was more
There's
talking
no
about its
theme.
simplicity and boringness.
well, it's a very different kind of experience.
I just want to point out that I corrected your guys' grammar twice now.
Good job,
Ooh.
Daniel.
Just
Yeah,
excellent
right,
recognition
us.
for that. Polyominoes. And because of that, that's going to be my shelf, baby, because I know how to say the word, and I do like polyomino games. Actually, I do like Patchwork. It was good. It did end up leaving my shelf because it is a 2-player. Actually, let me, first of all of these games were on my shelf at one point. I got rid of all of them. So that
Smart move.
it gives you an idea of how I feel about these games. So, but Patchwork would be the one I would keep out of these three because it takes up the less space. But also, I like polyomino games. But I got rid of it because my wife didn't like it, didn't resonate with her. So I was like, okay, I guess there's no point in keeping it. But I would have kept it if she liked it. I do like what you get to do when you're like moving around the board to get the pieces, and if you want to dry them up, like this person can't get a piece they need, so I move the pawn one space instead of two spaces. Like I kind of like manipulating things like that. So that's going to be my shelf. My play is going to be Le Havre because I had that for like 3 years on my shelf and I never actually got to play it, and I finally traded it. I played it a long time ago when I was first in the hobby, and it was so overwhelming. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't play this game. I could definitely play it now, and I want to play it now because I heard it's really good. Also, Tom Bassel loves this game. It's one of his favorite Uwe Rosenbergs, and I want to give it a try. And then my trade is just like Chris, Feast for Odin. Way too much. I have played that thing a couple of times, but I will agree with Andy. It is a beautiful connection of all of his games. So it was a really cool thing to see, kind of like when Freedom and Freeze did 504 and he kind of got to explore with his game design. I think that's what Feast for Odin is, but I don't want that much in a game. Not for me.
The more you play it, the less it feels.
Unless it feels.
Sure.
Well, the less it feels overwhelming.
The more you play
it's
it, the less you like it.
No, that's not what I meant.
I got feels for it.
It's just like any of these games. The only reason you don't like it is because we have too many freaking games. If you just played that one a few times, you'd be like, "Oh, this is cool."
That's fair.
Maybe.
John, what you doing, man?
Well, here's the deal. I'm, as the protest vote on this show, not crazy about any of these games. Haven't played any of these games, and I could have between the time we planned the show and did the show, but I thought that would compromise my integrity as the protest vote, so I refused to play any of them. Because I know enough about them, I think, to go through this segment and rate them as play shelf trade. My play is easy. That's going to be Patchwork. That's something I could play with my wife. It actually looks fun, and it takes basically a themeless game and does what it should be. It's short and it's quick, and it gives you a few fun decisions, and boom, you're done, and you had a good time. My trade is Le Havre, which nobody ever spells right, and it's spelled incorrectly on our teleprompter. But for many reasons. Number one, I'm a Pepsi guy, and there's Coke in the game because you change your.
I don't think it's that kind of Coke.
That's
Or
true.
that kind of Coke.
What kind of Coke is it? What Coke do you use for energy? That makes no sense.
I don't know.
What is it? Cocaine? Is that what they're? I don't know.
Maybe.
That gives you energy.
That's right.
Anyway, but at least it's attempting to be thematic. It's making a small attempt to be thematic, but it is ugly and looks boring. And so that's my trade. And then there's Feast. Zero theme. You can say you're eating Odin. You can say you're making food for Odin. You can say you're fighting Odin for all it matters, because it doesn't matter. You're not doing any of those things. And it's long. And you can just tell by looking at the board, yeah, there ain't no theme in this, dude. It's just squares and things, places to put squares and places to fill up and places to do things. And, which might make you some good decisions, okay? Maybe you really like that. Maybe that can get you into a 4-hour game where 2 hours in you think you're probably not going to win. Because there's another thing. If you've never played it and you're playing someone like Andy, who is probably not going to tell you all the rules exactly right anyway, but he's played it multiple times, he knows what to do, okay? There's 800 million things you can do. Andy knows what's best, or at least better than you because you haven't played it. So basically, you have to get this game, play it with the same 4 people and the same experience level for like a year, and then you'd probably all have it down pretty well, and you'd have this themeless mess mastered. So Le Havre is my trade. Feast is traded like yesterday's Judas. It's gone. It's out of here. It's even worse. So that's my 3. I play.
How
I
is it
trade,
themeless?
and I trade like yesterday's Judas.
John,
How is it themeless?
How is it not?
You go on raids. You
don't go on raids.
Yes, you do.
You get little chips. That's what you do.
You go on raids. You go hunting. You go whaling. It's all the things that a good Viking would do.
And all those things get you chips that look like the other chips with a different picture. Here's the other thing. It's another one of those stupid games where you have to feed your people. Feed yourselves, for the love of God. You're a Viking. You can't feed yourself. Come on. How long are we going to baby these people?
This is why we can't have people like you as leaders. We can't have people like you as leaders. You just starve them all.
Well, hey, I can be a knucklehead at times. So, leave me with that.
So I'm gonna be honest, John. Like, actually, you've sold me on Feast for Odin, but that sales speech works for every game of me. Of play with the same people and play it 1,000 times. So I'm actually back on board just because
there you go.
I want to do that with everything.
There you go.
What about you guys? Did John sell you on the idea for every game like me? Just play with the same people 1,000,000 times, because that'll work. That gets it every time for me. Unless it's actually Feast for Odin. That's but let us know what your play shelf trade would be in the comments, and make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Hey, thanks for watching a clip from Around the Board. It's a show that comes out every other Thursday where we discuss board games and board game topics. We're awarded points, and at the end, whoever wins gets to be on their soapbox and say whatever they want. So if you want to watch the full episode, find the link in the description below. Thanks for watching.